Hey friends, it's Pastor Julie checking in and letting you experience our Good Friday Prairie Walk if you did not get a chance to come out here today. So I'm going to take you through it. Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's attendant, cutting off his right ear. Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword back in its sheath. Am I not to drink the cup Abba God has given me?" Then the cohort and its captain and the temple guard seized and bound Jesus. They took him first to Annas. Annas was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, who was high priest that year. It was Caiaphas who had advised the temple authorities that it was better to have one person die on behalf of the people. The doorkeeper said, "Aren't you one of this guy's followers?" But Peter answered, "No, I'm not." Now the night was cold, so the attendants and guards had lit a charcoal fire and were warming themselves. Peter was with them as well, keeping warm. The high priest questioned Jesus about his disciples and his teachings. Jesus answered, "I have spoken publicly to everyone. I have always taught in synagogues and in the temple area where the whole Jewish people congregates. I have said nothing in secret." Meanwhile, Simon Peter was still standing there, warming himself. Others asked him, "Aren't you one of his disciples?" But Peter denied it, saying, "I am not." One of the attendants of the high priest, a relative of the attendant whose ear Peter had severed, spoke up. "Didn't I see you in the garden with him?" Again, Peter denied it. At that moment, a rooster crowed. Pilate said, "So you're a king?" Jesus replied, "You say I'm a king. I was born and came into the world for one purpose, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who seeks the truth hears my voice." They shouted, "Not him! We want Barabbas!" Barabbas was a robber, so Pilate ordered that Jesus be flogged. Then the soldiers wove a crown out of thorns and put it on his head and dressed him in a purple robe. Pilate said to the people, "Here is your king. Take him away." They shouted, "Take him away. Crucify him." Pilate asked, "Do you want me to crucify your king?" The chief priests said, "We have no king but Caesar." Then Pilate handed Jesus over to them to be crucified. After the soldiers had crucified Jesus, they took his clothing and divided it into 4 pieces, 1 piece for each soldier. They also took the seamless robe. The soldiers said to one another, "Let's not tear it. We can throw dice to see who will get it." After this, Jesus knew that now all was completed, and to fulfill Scripture perfectly, he said, "I am thirsty." There was a jar of cheap wine nearby, so they put a sponge soaked in the wine on a hyssop stick and raised it to his lips. Jesus took the wine and said, "It is finished." But when they came to Jesus, they found that he was already dead, so they didn't break his legs. One of the soldiers, however, pierced Jesus' side with a lance, and immediately blood and water poured out. After this, Joseph of Arimathea, a disciple of Jesus, but a secret one for fear of the temple authorities, asked Pilate for permission to remove the body of Jesus, and Pilate granted it. So Joseph came and took it away. Nicodemus came as well, the same one who had first come to Jesus by night, and he brought about 100 pounds of spices, a mixture of myrrh and aloes. They took the body of Jesus and wrapped it with the spices and linen cloths, according to the Jewish burial custom. There was a garden in the place where Jesus had been crucified, and in the garden was a new tomb where no one had ever been buried. Since it was the day before the Sabbath, and the tomb was nearby, they buried Jesus there. It is finished.